Well, we can go live now to Cairo and to our reporter, Lara Setrakian. Lara, we're about just over an hour into this protest today. What is the feeling like there? Are we going to see 1 million people on the street today?
Well, the crowds are absolutely swelling. Just behind me, you can't see, but they're filing along the banks of the River Nile towards Tahrir Square. That was the plan, to have everybody converge at that critical intersection, to hold their display of force, throw everything they can at this protest, and then march toward the presidential palace, where a heavily fortified guard is standing watch over President Hosni Mubarak. He is trying to conduct business as usual, move this government forward to the best extent he can, but he's crippled by these protests, crippled politically, and also with the tremendous amount of international pressure, especially after Friday. That was the day where protesters clashed with police. This city practically turned into a war zone. We still see the burned out cars on the streets, party headquarters of the Central National Democratic Party completely bombed, burned out. So we have a sense here that Mubarak is clinging to power. He's trying to do his best to control these crowds, but they are coming out. This country, meanwhile, on every other level, is at a standstill. Banks are still closed. The stock market is suspended. Some people we see on the streets are doing their best to get to work, carry on with normal life, but there's no internet, very little way to drive around this city. So really, everybody's waiting to see how today plays out. That's going to set the tone for this confrontation between the people and their president.
No, we did see some pictures there of the tanks and the army on the street, but this was a very significant statement, wasn't it, that they will not shoot on peaceful protesters and that they will not disrupt the march. In a way, this was almost a tacit legitimization of what's happening by the army. They're playing a crucial role, aren't they?
They are. And now that is a kind of tacit approval. The most important part of their statement was recognizing that these protesters have legitimate complaints, everything from unemployment to inflation to political freedoms and just the way this country has been run for 3 decades under President Mubarak. That is certainly throwing their hat towards the arguments that these people are making out on the streets by being there chanting day and night for the removal of President Mubarak. Now, the army is very astutely playing both sides. With Vice President Omar Suleiman now in power, the army is more a part of Mubarak's government than ever before. And there's a sense that they are bridging between Mubarak and the protesters, between Mubarak and the opposition, and that they are the best hope for some stability between what we've seen here in this country for the past 30 years and whatever it is we're going to see coming out at the end of this process.
Indeed. Lara, we've had Omar Suleiman coming in as a deputy. We've had a new cabinet. Is any of this enough, or do those 1 million people on the streets today really want to see more than that?
Well, if you ask the protesters, it's most certainly not enough. This new cabinet has just angered them further. They see this as a shuffling of the cards. Mubarak choosing party loyalists, men who've always been in his inner circle, to many of these posts. And they want something very different. Fresh faces, a new constitution, dissolution of parliament, and just free and fair elections in the near future in September for the presidency. But there was a very flawed election last year for the parliament. People are still angry about it. Mubarak's party took 209 out of 220 seats. So they really want to see just this entire slate wiped clean and a fresh set of faces, Mohammed El-Baradei and others, coming in to put this country on a new course.
Lara, thank you very much indeed.